My Art Project by Freddie Saxon. This was the sketch after my very first attempt at drawing. I had an idea of what I wanted to do. I wanted to draw a knight-like character who was rather larger in stature. As you can see, I based the chest off in a kind of armor-like way, with this being the chest plate and this being the lower torso portion. When drawing, I was extremely proud of how I got the shoulder to look. I thought it looked very lifelike and fit the proportions of the body perfectly. I tried to mimic it on the left shoulder, but as you can see I had some trouble. I had to do a lot of redraws and eventually settled on this shape. I was also very proud of the way the arms turned out. I thought they looked very lifelike and I loved the proportions on them. The legs, however, I did not like how they turned out, especially this one. I couldn't get the shape right and I wasn't sure how the leg would move or contort. I also didn't really know how to draw the knee joint or add shading to this leg yet. This is the second section. As you can see, I began to add minor details to the shoulder, such as armor. I also began to work on the face. The shape of the head I didn't really like, but I was very proud of the hair and I enjoyed the way I drew the mouth. I also began to work on a second leg, but I did not end up finishing that one. Here I gave more detail to the armor and began to define out the chest piece. I was very proud of the armor I made. I thought it looked really good and I liked the angular shape I gave it. I also gave this tiny forearm piece with a small band. I thought the band was a good accessory to show how it's attached to the arm. Here I went with a different direction. I completely got rid of the head after testing out a helmet design. I did not like this design because it made the head look too bulbous and the head shape didn't really fit it. I also began to work on sketches and armor designs on the middle abdomen area. I gave it a small ab-like design as well as some definition. I also tried to add some minor details, but those didn't turn out how I wanted, so I erased them. I added some shading on the sides to give it a kind of mesh look that most armor has. I also finished out the chest piece and fully outlined it. I also added some more defined lines up by the shoulders to give it a more metallic look. I also completed an armor set on the right arm. I gave this one a little bit less detail, because for most armor that I looked at, one arm was much more detailed than the other one. I also added details to the left hand, and I began working on the right hand, but it looked too claw-like and I restarted. Here, I redid the head, I gave it a more human-like shape, and I gave it a much larger neck. I added some details to the eyes, the face, the nose, and the mouth, and I did some hair. The eyes and the nose I did not really like, but I did like how I did the mouth, and the hair just needed a little bit more definition, then it would be perfect. I also had some tiny scratches to show that he has been battle-worn, and I thought that gave the character a little bit more detail, and a little bit more of a story to tell. I also finished the right hand. Here I added more designs such as a sun and moon, a small broken circle, and more scratches. I also defined out the hair, and I began to work on marks on his face, as well as fixing the eyes and the nose. I also gave him a tiny sword just to give him more character. I also added some belt armor, and more metal and armor near the bottom of the body. As you can see, I also got rid of the legs because I did not know what to do with them, and so I decided to completely get rid of them. Here's the final design when I fully outlined it. I really liked how it turned out. I thought it looked like a good character and had decent details. Here's it without the pencil markings. Thank you.